the corruption of the Supreme Court. This is an oldie but goodie, and that is Michael Mukase. He was, and this is, you know, when you get as old as I am now, you start to see things replay over and over again. When Bill Barr was nominated or was, you know, raised to become Donald Trump's Attorney General, every single a mainstream media source that knew anything about this said, like, he's an old-time Republican. He will bring some ethics and integrity to the position and calm Donald Trump. And he turned out to be just a maybe slightly more sophisticated, scumbag than Jeff Sessions. Honestly, when Alberto Gonzales was fired as George Bush's attorney general. And remember, this is like with the torture regime that took place and the unitary executive theory and all the things that were making people afraid that, Republican governance was completely out of control. They brought in Michael Mukase and they said, this is an old-time Republican. This is a guy who's really going to bring some semblance and balance. And Mukase turned out to be almost identical to Bill Barr, just a more sophisticated version of doing the same things. He okayed the torture stuff. He okayed the unitary executive stuff. He was sort of deep into corruption. I think Rudy Giuliani. This guy was horrible. I don't know why he is brought in front of the Senate. Just the fact that he's asked to testify on government ethics is in and of itself a reformation project for him. Here is Jon Ossoff, senator from Georgia, questioning Michael Mukase on what he would think would be unethical. Of all the people to ask, honestly, why didn't they ask Rudy Giuliani while they're at it? Here is Michael Mukase.
Enormously valuable, that was then obliterated because it was said that created the appearance of conflict.
And Judge Mukase, I'm not in any way questioning or even seeking to interrogate your personal conduct.
Pause it for 1 second. We should say this is because Mukase is so defensive about his personal conduct that when he got a whiff of what Ossoff was offering, which was a hypothetical, he was like, "Well, you have no idea the damage." Blah, blah, blah. Just to give you a sense of where it is, and Ossoff has to say, "Oh no, I promise you, we're not here to investigate you, despite the fact that you probably deserved it."
Enormously valuable, that was then obliterated because it was said that created the appearance of conflict.
And Judge Mukase, I'm not in any way questioning or even seeking to interrogate your personal conduct. What I'm asking you is that as a judge, is it fair to say that you most likely would have declined an offer of foreign travel worth hundreds of thousands of dollars because, quite reasonably, you would have had the concern that public disclosure of such travel could have undermined public confidence in the impartiality of your judgment?
Simply because it amounted to, if somebody took me, if I were a district judge and somebody wanted to fly me on his private plane on a vacation with his family and I were friendly with that person, would I have refused and endangered the friendship? I'm not sure that I would have.
Well, I think the American public sees that kind of conduct and quite reasonably asks the question whether it's appropriate.
Okay. Put aside Ossoff's comments there. It's true. But first off, contemplate two things. One, Harlan Crow and Clarence Thomas.
They go back to kindergarten, right?
Were not friends before Clarence Thomas was appointed to the Supreme Court.
25 years, like friend of 25
Let's
years.
just be clear. Let's just be clear. Clarence Thomas was called up in 2011 on these same issues with Harlan Crow. That was 12 years ago. But make no mistake, these were not longtime friends prior to the fact of Clarence Thomas sitting on the court. But here's the other thing. Michael Mukase's so-called friend who's taking him on an all expense paid trip on his private jet, he's going to jeopardize this friendship by saying, hey, man, I'm sorry, I'm a judge. And, you know, I can't be seen doing this. I know it's a pain. I mean, this is just bizarre. This is bizarre that this guy is out there trying to defend. Like, I got some news for you, Mukasey, about your friend. If he's not going to be friends with you because he's not in a position to take you an all expense paid trip, maybe there's something ulterior motives he has. I mean, I have been friends with U.S. attorneys. I've been friends with judges, and not district judges. You know, town judges. And they impose a code of conduct on themselves where their behavior, they are conscious of, I have a position that even if I, you know, engage in certain behaviors or this and that, I've got to be low key about it. Like I have a responsibility to the office. And if a judge has no compunction whatsoever to be flown around the world on a regular basis by a party who has at least sometimes some stuff in front of the court, but at least a sort of like ideological bent about where the court should be, has no compunction, what is the point of judicial ethics? Why do we even talk about it? Why do we talk about judicial temperament? Why? It's all just a fiction. It really is just fascinating for a guy like Mukasey to just admit that publicly. Because this is what we're seeing is, I want to say mask off, but it's not. It's just sort of slowly they're just degenerating on their faces. Because they don't care.
No.
They don't care. They're already in the getaway car. They're just driving away and they're just waving because they know, you know, the drawbridge just got pulled up behind them. I don't know. I'm getting a little carried away on that driveway car metaphor, but I don't know why I see a drawbridge. But that's one of the things. It's like, yeah, so long, nice try. You can't follow us because the drawbridge got pulled up. We'll be talking to Ian Millhiser about this and other things in just a moment.